What's going on, everybody? Shonen Express here, coming to you with another weekly Shonen Jump newsletter. I'm excited to get into this week, so let's just jump in. So first of all, the cover this week was Dr. Stone. This was really cool. I don't think Dr. Stone gets the cover. I can't really remember when the last time it was that Dr. Stone got the cover, but it did this week, so that was really cool to see. I like that it gets some love, and this chapter definitely deserved it. It was cool. We met, this Dr. Chelsea, and she's a cool character that's going to help us get down the Amazon River. It's interesting to see them tackle these problems in like a way that, using the tools that they have. It's just, that's an interesting part of the series as a whole. So I thought this was a good chapter, and certainly, one that did the cover justice this week. I thought it was really cool. I thought the color spread of them on the moon with like their kid versions was really cool too. A lot of the characters there. So that was a really cool color spread, I thought, this week. Dr. Stone, cool chapter. Got the cover this week. Definitely cool to see it up there. So, yeah. As far as anything new, there wasn't any new manga out this week. And there also was no manga that ended this week, although I'm getting a little worried about some of them, that some of them may be coming to an end sooner rather than later, but nothing came to an end this week. There was also nothing on break this week, so we had a full magazine for the first time in several weeks. Which was cool. I like to see everything in the magazine. That's, obviously works out for me. But there was also nothing special in this week. There were no double chapters, no special one-shots, nothing like that. Just a regular full week of Weekly Shonen Jump. So, kind of a regular week, but it was not a regular week in the content. This was a great week again for Weekly Shonen Jump. So let's get into my top and bottom three. Now, for those of you who have seen a couple of these videos before and seen kind of how I do my top and bottom three, I'm shaking it up now. Primarily, I thought it was kind of unfair to group things like Our Blood Oath in the same category as One Piece. One Piece is such a flagship series for Weekly Shonen Jump, and Our Blood Oath is only 8 chapters long right now. It doesn't stand a chance, you know what I mean? But it might stand a chance if coupled with things of, kind of its same length. And so what I've gone ahead and done is split up the current manga into 3 categories based on their current length. So the length of chapters that they have. And these the manga in these categories could change up as we keep going. As things get older, they might move up a category. If things drop off, other manga might shift around and all that. But I'm going to keep it basically 3 equal categories for the rest of my time doing these weekly newsletters. So the categories right now are the flagship category, which is the series that have been running the longest in Weekly Shonen Jump. That's why I call them the flagship manga. In this, we have One Piece, My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Dr. Stone, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man. All of these series I would consider flagship series for the magazine. And that's a good cutoff point. Chainsaw Man being almost 100 chapters. I think 91 was this week, so that's a good cutoff. The next section down, I'm calling this the tested section. These are manga that have been tested, and they have stood that ground and made it to the halfway section. So the manga in this section are Mission Yozakura Family, Undead Unluck, Mashley Magic and Muscles, A Gravity Boys, Mori King, and Ayakashi Triangle. So those are those. And then the lowest category, or the newest category, is just a category I'm calling just new. And in the new category, we have Meguchan, God of Destruction, Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin, Me and Roboko, High School Family, Phantom Seer, and Our Blood Oath. So that's kind of how I will be picking my top and bottom 3, one from each of the categories, just to kind of give more manga, more representation in my newsletters. So with that explained, let's get into my bottom 3, because again, I want to end in a good note. So let's talk about the bottom 3 first. So number 3 this week is from the flagship category, and that is My Hero Academia. It wasn't necessarily a bad chapter this week. It was just I felt so conflicted because I wanted to see the stuff. I really want to see the conclusion of the stuff with with Shigaraki and Deku. I want to see that kind of conclusion. And most of this chapter was about Toga and Ochako, which is fine. It's just I wasn't as interested. I'm also a little confused about what Toga was trying to get out of this. But All of that considered, it was a good chapter this week. I'm not about to say it wasn't a good chapter, but out of the flagship series, it was definitely the worst in my opinion. So it made its way to the bottom, to number 3 this week on my worst manga. Number 2 of my worst manga this week is from the tested category, and that is Mashley, Magic and Muscles. So I'm not a big Mashley fan. I'm not a big fan of this manga, as it's pretty clear to those of you who have been listening to these for a while. And this chapter, again, though, I will say this chapter wasn't bad. This was a pretty good chapter. It definitely could have done better, but out of its category, it's just the weakest this week. It's not. There was a couple cool fights. I like the hit that he got in at the end of the chapter. That was cool, but at the same time, just kind of par for the course for Mashley. So, it ends up at number 2. And number 1, my bottom manga this week is High School Family, from the new section, obviously. But High School Family is, I'm not a super big fan of High School Family. I will be honest, this chapter wasn't terrible. I didn't hate it, but I felt like nothing for it. I didn't like it or dislike it. The stuff with him and the girl was okay, It just wasn't it felt like a normal, I'm watching a normal high schooler just do life. Obviously it's supposed to be gags, kind of gag-like with his mom being friends with her mom and all that stuff, but it just wasn't that interesting to me, if I'm being completely honest. So that's why it's at the bottom. I will say none of these three chapters this week were bad. They were all okay. It's just they were the worst of the bunch. But let's move on to the top 3, where hopefully we will spend some more time. But this week, my number 3 comes from the tested category, and that is Ayakashi Triangle. I never thought that I'd say this manga would make it all the way up to my number 1 spot in its category, but it did this week. Ayakashi Triangle was really, really good. I mean, the stuff with Shirogane finally got his form back. I think we are going to see Matsuri switch back to being a guy, which is good. I've been waiting for that for a while. The stuff we got to see with Nino Kuru was really cool. I thought his fighting style was awesome. Even the stuff with Matsuri and their fight with the Icon was really cool. This Icon Ayakashi is super cool. It was just a really good chapter. I really liked it. The fan service was kind of held to a minimum, which, as you probably know by now, I appreciate. But this was a really good chapter, and I'm actually excited to see what happens next week with this chapter. This is one, though, that I'm a little worried it's going to end soon, because if this whole, gender swap thing is reversed, I think that probably spells the end for this manga. So I think we're probably going to come to an end pretty soon, but at the same time, I'm excited to see what that looks like. Coming in at number 2, though, this week is from the new category, and that is Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin. So I said, I think 2 weeks ago, that I was really looking forward to where this storyline was going to go in Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin, and boy, was I right. We're in this mystery. I love that the lifeguard is part of this cult of the ocean. We're finally getting into this cult stuff. This is why I really liked Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin in the beginning. This is what I came to see. I'm so excited to see where this manga goes in the future. I just really like it, so I'm really excited. I hope, if you haven't read Hard-Boiled Cop and Dolphin, it's not that long. It's part of the new category, so it's not that long. Definitely go and check it out. It's worth your time. I'm just really excited to see what happens in the future. And my number 1 this week, coming from the flagship category, is Chainsaw Man, another shakeup. This week has been quite a shakeup. If you watched my review of last week, you know that Chainsaw Man was in my bottom 3, and it's because of what they did with Power that I didn't like, and how much I like Power. I should have kept my mouth shut, is what I learned from this. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have known that something like this was going to happen, but I didn't. This chapter was everything I wanted, There was not this... there's always kind of been, in my mind, this pseudo-romantic undertone with Denji and Power's relationship, but the way that this ended was so fitting, and Power's definitely dead now. Obviously the Blood Devil was going to come back and, Power tells Denji to go find the Blood Devil and make friends with him again. But it was so nice, that little moment where they're in the dumpster and they're talking. It was really nice to see, and it fixed all my problems with last week. And that coupled with the end where, he's talking with that mentor guy, who's obviously against Makima, and he says, are you the monster or are you Denji? Because if you're the monster, I'm going to let Makima get you, but if you're Denji, we're going to help. And Denji just throws up the peace sign with just a little bit of snot, a little bit of tears coming out. It was so good. You know what I mean? It was such a good chapter. It was such a moving chapter for me. And it really wrapped up Power and Denji's relationship for me perfectly. And I really like what Denji was saying about hey, I've had a decent life. But I think this is where it changes for Denji from I want the simple things in life to striving after a goal. Striving to be the hero, to be the Chainsaw Man. I really am excited to see where this goes. So I really want to read more, and it definitely deserves my number one spot this week. But I do have some honorable mentions this week that I couldn't fit in. One Piece, oh my word, it's just fantastic. If you don't read One Piece, why? Why wouldn't you read One Piece? It's so good. Just go read it. It is long, but it's worth every second of it, so definitely go read it. But One Piece obviously deserves an honorable mention. Cool stuff with Kaido, cool stuff with, the Beast Pirates in general, Queen and all that, so definitely that was cool. Black Clover, super cool. I love the stuff, the pact that he makes with the devil. That was so good. It was expected, I'll be honest. But it was so good. I really liked that. It's just so true to who Asta is. So Black Clover, great. Mission Yozakura family. We finally found out a little bit about Taio's family, and that's awesome. That's what we've been looking for. So I'm very excited about that. Undead Unluck, we are moving in a direction of more chapters of this series going on for longer, and that's exactly what I wanted. So, I just want to call out those four while we're here. But, as far as news this week, I don't have any concrete news that I found this week, but I will say that it does appear that there will be 4 new manga coming to Weekly Shonen Jump, at least coming to the app. They might not all be on the Weekly Shonen Jump, in the Weekly Shonen Jump lineup, so you might not see all of them here, but there's 4 new manga, it looks like, that are going to start in the month of November. So definitely be on the lookout for that. They will obviously, if they're in Weekly Shonen Jump, they're going to be joining my list. So I'm excited to see that. And apparently the first one, starts around the 6th. So it could be that is, that's our 8th, November 8th, which would be the next time the chapters drop. So be on the lookout for that. That's definitely going to come out. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any news. Again, be on the lookout for the Infinity Train movie that's going to come out for Demon Slayer. I'm sure that's going to be cool. But other than that, that's all the news I have for you, and that'll do it for this episode of the weekly newsletter. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have anything to say, please leave it down in the comment section. I'd love to talk with you, discuss this week, and discuss the manga and Weekly Shonen Jump. I'd love to do that with you in the comment section, so leave a comment. If you liked anything I had to say, like this video. Subscribe to my channel. I bring you these weekly newsletters every single week. I am also almost done with my Time Paradox Ghostwriter Return to Sender video. So we're almost done with that video. I'm going to put that out probably early this coming week. So definitely be on the lookout for that video too. But thanks so much for watching this video. And yeah, have a great week, and we'll see you next week for the weekly newsletter. For now, though, this is Shonen Express signing off.